Hi there, it's Mrs. Mack here. I want to talk to you today or discuss the analysis of a photo. I refer you to the recent PowerPoint that I've posted there and also beg of you to please attend your Zoom sessions. Okay, in this little PowerPoint, we will share some ideas about the photograph in question, and we will then formulate these ideas into coherent paragraphs. In the past, I've seen that people know what they want to say, but they don't know how. So what we'll finish with is a formulated, coherent paragraph. This is one of the more stunning photographs I've ever seen. And before we discuss it, or I discuss it with you, please form your own opinions about this photo. What is your immediate focus? What are the things that stand out? What is the emotive value of this photo? I think we will all have different responses to that, which is natural. Um, but lean a bit towards the analysis of photos and the terminology that you know in order to have an academic discussion. We will now look at the setting. Now we know that in all types of narratives we find a setting. Now the setting is where, the place, and when, the time. In this case, there's no specification of a title or a date or whatever. So we will have to take an educated guess. We see in the background evidence of industry and the effect thereof. We see man-made clouds of polluted air. It's grey, dark grey, it's threatening, and we know how harmful that can be to life, environment, and people, animals, etc. Then we move to the foreground where we see mounds, little mountains of waste. And it comprises mostly of shreds of fabric and rags. And this refers back to the industry. Okay, that is the effect of the industry. It feels almost like smothering those mounds. Then we see a part on the left, a part of a building and a roof. We see that it is rickety, it's unstable and slanting. Look at the edge and um, the way it suggests poverty. And then we wonder, when we come to the focal point, where the child is outstretched and jumping from one waste mountain to another. Could that be his house? Is he reaching for that rickety structure? We could interpret it both ways. What I did see was this little dabs of color on the child. And I think that is to show life amidst the waste. My personal feeling is also that the photographer might have taken this photo with a sense of the child flying or rising above his situation. We now move from the discussion to a hypothetical question for which we must write an answer. I I have found in the past that many of you can discuss issues and questions very intelligently, but when it comes to the writing, there seems to be a barrier. Okay, so read the questions or the question and see the different parts of the question. Okay, so we are looking at the setting, we're looking at the visual elements, and then also the emotional impact that this photo carries. Okay, so in order to write a coherent answer, you will revisit the previous slide and construct our answer. You see, that was just bits and pieces and bullet points, etc. And then you must know that we will write more than one paragraph, as we know that each separate idea should have a different paragraph. If we speak about the background, that would be one. We speak about the foreground, it would be one. If we discuss the emotional impact, that might be a different paragraph on its own. Firstly, let's find a title for this photograph, because we don't have one here. And when a photographer titles his or her photo, it is easier to determine the purpose of the photograph. Why did he take it? I just chose for my working title Against All Odds. Why did I choose that? Because it seems as if that child lives in that wasteland and finds joy against all odds. Is he rising to the occasion? Is he flying away? But I feel against all odds. You might choose your own. The setting of this photo is really somber and depressing. Why? The black and grey tones that dominate in both the background and the foreground. In the background, we see evidence of industry. Man-made clouds of air pollution make the damage to environment or life clear. Can you see that what we started there is one paragraph on its own? Then we move on to the next part that we want to discuss. In the foreground, we see two grey mounds of waste, which seems to be scraps of fabric, which may be connected to the industries in the background. Okay. To the left, we see the outline of a rickety, teetering shack, which seems to be falling down. And you could refer there to the angle of the shack. Right. In my opinion, the focal point is the child jumping from one waste mountain to another, with arms outstretched as if flying, the mouth open in anticipation of the landing, and the toes pointed. All of that coming forward to reach the rickety structure, which may or may not be his home. We also see little flashes of color on the child to show life amidst the grey waste. Then we go to a different paragraph in which you could convey your understanding and your perspective of this photo, and also talk about the emotional impact. And I would say I would start, I feel, because it's a personal opinion. I feel as if the photographer, the purpose was that to do the photo with a sense of a child flying or rising above his situation. The child is the one living entity amongst the waste. Did the photographer want to convey a sense of hope and show the resilience of the human spirit? You see, that is a personal interpretation of mine. Yours might differ, but as long as you can validate your response, you will get acknowledgement of that. The other thing, which has nothing to do with the analysis of the photograph, is please, guys and girls, write full sentences. Go back to the PowerPoint in which certain grammatical structures were discussed. Make sure of the punctuation, PPs that are put on ECI. Make your work something that you can be proud of. Don't slap it together half an hour before submissions, etc. Be proud of your work. I know we're all going through a very torrid time with lots of insecurities and things are not clear, but do your best and hang in there, Mrs. Mac.